Legitify helps companies and individuals solve their everyday notarization needs globally with their online platform. Leading Legitify is Arko Ganguly, CEO and CPO. They streamline cross-border transactions, starting with remote online notarization, and are expanding their offerings with AI-powered digitalization of legal processes.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Arko Ganguly, and I am a co-founder of Legitify. We are doing something pretty straightforward. It has been straightforward for quite some time, but it's been extremely difficult to do for various reasons that we don't understand still, even though I'm doing this business for 3.5 years. We notarize documents remotely and digitally, specifically with the primary focus of the European market. So we are Europe's first remote online notarization solution. The founding team, I know it's like, I think the slide's a little haywire, but it's fine. I can talk about myself again. So my background is actually in law. I was a lawyer for 11 years before I started this business. I come from a family of engineers, so it's like me reclaiming my family honor. I'm doing something in legal tech. My co-founder, she comes from the background of financial technology and private equity, another place where notarizations is an extremely difficult thing to pull off, especially when it comes to various deals. And we have been there since December 2020. It's not a post-COVID or a pre-COVID business, it's a during-COVID business. Basically, Ida and I, we started in Antler in Stockholm. I was thinking of doing something in legal tech, she was thinking of doing something in fintech, and we could not find a team to actually work together. And she needed to notarize a document. If you remember, Sweden was a place where you couldn't get out of. And so she asked me, how can I notarize this document remotely? Well, let's do it now for the next 3.5 years and solve this problem for the rest of the world, right? So we went through that, we went through pre-seed funding. You can see the different steps along the way. We did a few POCs. We realized the biggest challenge is also our biggest boon, that you need to notarize documents for absolutely everything you do. So how do you do this as a startup? So we finally focused, we built a beta solution, then we created a version 2, primarily focusing on certain use cases, case of AML and KYC for banks and financial institutions, as well as power of attorneys for different service providers which provide you services globally, and HR tech and a few other heads. Now we have gone into digital notarizations. So I'm sure you guys have notarized documents multiple times with notaries, and this is not the most tech-intensive process so far, and we're trying to change that. So we started with remote notarizations where we connect with the notaries remotely, but now you can, but the document at the end was still a paper document. But certain countries across the world have been changing the laws to allow for digital notarization, which allows you to actually have a notarized document in electronic form. So now we have been partnering with various qualified electronic signature providers, specifically Scribe and DocuSign, in Europe to actually bring digital notarization to the European Union. It's an extremely inefficient and a manual process. It's extremely costly, especially if you want to do cross-border notarization, which is our primary focus. And there is certainly regulatory uncertainty around it. And the solution is very straightforward. You do remote notarizations. You come to a solution. We notarize the document. You connect to the notary online. The notary asks you specific questions. You do their identification, and they implement the qualified electronic signature, or they affix the document with the notarial seal, and they courier it to you if you need it. The solution is currently focusing on SaaS-enabled, and it's not a marketplace, though we have notaries on one side and customers on the other, and we provide this as a service. We have customers from different parts of the world. It's a big market, though it seems niche because everything needs notarization. I know I'm out of time, but there's a huge legal momentum across the world. And fundamentally, we had significant traction. We have more than 1,100 paying users. So we have customers from over 40+ jurisdictions. We have 3.6x year-on-year growth. And we have activated 5 enterprise partnerships, various banks and financial institutions. We have different segments for our growth plan. We're working with companies like Deal, like Cabis and Remote. We're also working with Revolut Business and various challenger banks across various parts of the world for helping them with their international plans. So yeah, a lot of use cases, not enough time to pitch. I'm already a lot being late. So yeah, we're backed by NDRC. We closed a $1.5 million round recently, and moving onwards. So yeah, I was supposed to pitch, but I'm here so far. I'm 1 minute late, sorry.
Thank you very much for the whistle-stop tour to your company. I guess, what are your plans for, because this is a very specific solution, what are your plans for scale beyond, like how do you go beyond just notarization, or what's like better way of putting it. Is this like a plug-in solution for future to other organizations, or how do you go beyond just where you are today? What's the next step?
Obviously, as a solution which is predominantly focusing on predominantly enterprises and slightly more mature businesses to actually get the volumes to make it sense economically.
Yeah.
We are going to probably get into the ancillary marketplaces, maybe sometimes through association with other companies, but also building our own specific problems. Like when you're notarizing a document, there are two specific questions you have to answer. One is when you notarize the document, which creates our moat, because you know when you need to notarize a document for your customer. If you're a B2B onboarding customer, like Revolut Business needs to onboard a business customer, and they have a director who is from an international jurisdiction, so they need a specific notarization for that effect. So we actually create our APIs, we integrate with these financial institutions, and then we just after the integration, the product sells itself. So that's one of the ways we actually create that moat. But beyond notarizations, we also go to places where why you need to notarize documents and what you need to notarize. A huge requirement for people who come to a solution on an ongoing basis is like, I need to notarize a power of attorney, can you help me? So document templates is another place we are going to get into by definition. So we are going to be a part of the entire contract lifecycle management space anyways, because notarizations are part of the execution process. So there are different possibilities to go towards directions, but right now we want to focus on the co-focus and then move outwards.
Okay, thank you.
Can you give us a little bit of a whistle-stop tour about your competition? Do you have competition, and who are they, and what's to stop them becoming a problem?
Yeah, so one of the biggest objections to our business is the moat, right? Because anybody can start a remote online notarization with a bunch of notaries on your solution. But there are two things. The first thing is because we are primarily focusing on enterprises and large businesses, once we are entrenched to their ecosystems and in their internal processes, we actively work with various legal operations people in various companies. It's going to be very hard to change the legal process internally because the risk is significantly high when it comes to changing a vendor for a significant legal process. But from the competitor side, there's only one more competitor actually right now in the European Union. It's an extremely mature market in the US with primary focuses on more mortgage financing. That's where the market is. Notarize.com is there, DocuSign is there. So everyone asks me, what stops DocuSign from entering this market? DocuSign, even in the US, has started DocuSign Notary, and they've actually partnered with its competitors, One Notary, where they've invested and they've partnered with. Now they're partnering with us as the first notary solution in the European Union. There's one more competitor from Austria, but they are more geared towards electronic notarization focus, but we are kind of broader than that. Still a market that's evolving. A lot of incumbents will come in.